get us started today. We have over 36 participants today, and that's exciting because we come together in a quite daring time. It's a volatile and very challenging time, and it's natural to feel anxious and afraid, to be a little bit consumed by fear and what's happening in our communities, because it also puts us on the spot and asks, where is safety? So the coronavirus has pretty much shifted our lives. All of us have been impacted. So it's not only one, but it's the whole community that is feeling also the stress, the change, and the threat that is in the air. Some of you might have self-quarantined at home. And that's also one reason why we facilitate this Mind Zoom also online, so that everybody can actually be safe and sound. I hope that you are doing fine and all right, and you might put some feedback in the chat box, the Zoom chat box here, and I see some of you are already using it here, because we are in community. We are together in this boat, right, to really be challenged and bring also some practices to the table that allow us to stay grounded in an uncertain time. Because I don't know how it is for you, but I not only myself feel it, but also in others, like students on campus and now at home, with questions in terms of what will life bring? Will I be able to continue my graduate studies? Will I have some retirement savings left because the market just crashed? Will I be healthy? Will my family be healthy? So these are real questions that all of us face at the moment. And this type of change can also be quite overwhelming. We might have obsessive thoughts that arise and keep us awake about the future. But in this phase of also real danger and tragedy of loss, it's also crucial to use our resources and strengthen them and draw on our intelligence to tap into also feelings of safety and okayness. And mindfulness, and in particular also mindfulness, gentleness, and compassion can help us also to navigate through this difficult time, to nourish ourselves, to stay grounded, and to also really find time to connect to ourselves, not to get overwhelmed. As the world is changing all around us and our communities, and so much changes at the doorstep, it's also important that we really don't get carried away and actually overwhelmed. And this is also to draw on some of the not only physical safety in terms of social distancing, hand washing, disinfecting everything around us to keep us as safe and protected as possible, but also quite important here to also find grounding in emotional and mental safety. So there are some questions that I saw in the chat also popping up related to, do we have a social media group for UF students who are currently staying alone in town and don't have family around? I can offer that we have an UF Mindfulness and Practice group that meets every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. And this practice group actually has started face-to-face on campus. And now we have also shifted into online mode. And you find information about this group if you haven't been practicing with it. It is actually not only students, but also faculty members and staff members, postdocs. So it's mixed, but we come together to also provide support, to practice together, mindfulness practices, and variety of them. And actually we talk quite a bit too. So there's a lot of sharing, community building, and also really supporting each other, because that's what groups do. I don't know of any specific student group, but this might be something also to find out if there is one that has been forming as of now. But take a look also at some of the resources that the UF Mindfulness team has been providing. Of course, there's a lot of information and documentation that is shared in the community. And this in itself can become quite overwhelming too, to have so many incoming messages really thrown at us in terms of following up. Before I like to start and practice, I want to actually create some space here for any comments or any sharing, anything you want to say in terms of why we come together here, and your interest also to show up so strong with now 56 different participants. And that shows that, yeah, it is important to really come together and really support each other. Does anybody wants to say something? You can use your mic for those that actually have a mic set up or a webcam. There are a few on the phone that also joined us. So please feel free. You can also share, use the chat box also, that we can also see what is actually going in the community.
So this is Carol Lewis. I'll say something. Just, I feel I'm heartened to see everyone here, even if I'm not seeing you, and having an opportunity to reset our bodies and our minds and our nervous systems, or I'll speak for myself, mine, on a very regular basis. So important during this time, especially in a time that is uncertain. We don't know what to expect around the corner, and we're in an unprecedented time in that way. So to settle down and reset, I think, is really important. And thank you, Sabina.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Well said. And it touches on really coming together as a community here, because we are in the same boat and we can support each other. So we are not, although we might be at remote locations, zooming in from home or from offices, from all kinds of different places. But here it is also that we can find actually togetherness in zooming in at the same time in the same place and build community. Because despite also social distancing, we are not left on our own. And that's quite important to also acknowledge. So we are still live in community, right? Anybody else? I see here really lots of messages coming in. There's also resource information. If you look at the chat box, that's also quite important. So let's.
Okay. Is this working?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. I don't have a webcam, sadly. First of all, I wanted to say thank you very much for your time. But I just had a question. I was just curious. I mean, I know we're all kind of confused with what's going on right now, but what is your approach and how are you handling it?
Yeah, this is a good question. Um, you know, my practice of mindfulness meditation has actually given me a lot of grounding in these uncertain times, because mindfulness practices, that's what they do. They try to build up resilience and acceptance to what is, over, in particular, over things we have no control over. And actually, this pandemic puts us on the spot because it comes at us. And with that, also having a relationship that acknowledges it is what it is, right? I cannot simply say I'm escaping the corona crisis and it all goes away. No, it's not possible. And we know that because for the weeks to come, we will, or months to come, who knows, it will be there. But we are powerful in that sense. And I feel empowered too through my practice, because it gives me grounding that I can find, even in this uncertain time, okayness in terms of, yeah, I'm still healthy here. I have enough food. I have enough to drink. My pets are well. I wash my hands. I live my life as normal as I can. And also connecting a few times during the day with a practice of just checking in with myself, meaning to breathe in and breathe out, but do it consciously. And also have some space. Typically, I meditate in the evening hours where I block out for 20 minutes or half an hour and truly say, now I'm meditating. And I find also deep soothing and also groundedness and centeredness in this practice, because it allows me to stay more calm in the storm, to have more resilience, to not get freaked out over some news that come in. Myself, I also have been restricting the news and listen to them only for so long that I get what's going on, but I'm not oversaturating. Because sometimes when we listen to too much of just, it comes at us and there's another case and hundreds of more cases, and Italy is kind of in uproar and downfall, then it becomes really overwhelming. So to find ways to, in essence, also to let in what I can digest and integrate, and also to connect to my resources, to nourish myself really in between, right? Because if you don't do that, we might actually burn out and at some point really get so overwhelmed that we might feel either depressed or too anxious or blocked, even in our work, because many of us these days also we work from home, uh, because being, for example, one of the non-essential workers, we have to adjust and also see how can we concentrate and how can we stay attentive with our work, because it's also to keep our lives going as normal as we can. And that is a challenge. That is a challenge. So here, these practices that actually UF Mindfulness has been offering for the last few years, I think are now even more important because they allow us to also provide really us with, I call it a safety pet, something we can go back and rejuvenate, re-energize, that doesn't really wipe us away, right? Because here it's also practices that connect us to the present moment, because in mindfulness practice, when we connect with what is right here, right now, we are not freaked out about the future. We know it's there, right? But we relate with it also from a very different launching point, from a very different point of groundedness, connecting to the okayness of our body, of our embodied being. That can be in itself very, very nourishing. So what I suggest, we start with in practice, because when we learn these simple practices here in community, we can also really practice them at home, right? In your daily life. And this might be practices for 5 or 10 minutes. If you want longer, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And see also how they also help you to cope with some of the uproar and the storm that is all around us at the moment. So what I suggest is take a comfortable seating position. If you sit in a chair, you can also sit up. See that you are upright, that you're comfortable, not too stiff. Keep your feet on the floor, not cross-legged or twisted in some way, but really both feet on the floor. And just check in for a moment in your posture, in your seating position. So both feet are on the ground and feel the ground. There's nothing else than just your right big toe and your left big toe. Bring your awareness into all of your toes and just gently Breathe in and breathe out. Move your awareness into your ankles, be gentle with your awareness and breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe out, you can extend your breath slightly longer than your in-breath. You move your awareness now into your knees, the thighs, be there fully with your complete attention. Gently move your awareness up into your hips, your lower back. Check in your body and adjust the posture if you feel any tension or discomfort. You gently breathe in and you breathe out. Your attention moves into the lower belly, and stay there and rest for a moment. Feel how calm your lower belly is. Any tension that you sense, you can release by breathing out. And here, bring gentleness to your practice. This is a gift that you give yourself. This moment of mindfulness practice. You move your attention up the spine, the upper body, into your shoulders. You can relax right now. We are well grounded. Our feet are on the floor, and our whole body is well centered. You gently breathe in and you breathe out. Bring your attention now into your arms and your hands. Breathe into your fingers and gentle breath touches your palms from the inside. Now move your attention into your throat, your jaws, your ears, your eyes that rest gently in your eye sockets. Give them a rest. Move your awareness to your forehead, and if you notice any tension, just release. Now feel your whole body resting and relaxing. Sense into the groundedness, feeling centered right here and right now. So I like to invite you and ask, how do you feel now after this practice? And is there a difference to the moment you came into the mind zone? Do you feel that something shifted or changed? You can type into the chat box so that we can see what was real for you. I see here comments related to less tension. There were some shifts that were observed. It seemed that most of you we had noticed that there is a difference after mindfulness practice, how we can actually also shift us into a different state, in particular, if we are kind of feeling we are at the edge. So we can also, with connecting to our breath as an anchor and also to our body, to bring awareness into our body and connect to what's there. We have an ability also to really ground us and feel centeredness and feel okayness. So as we are coming nearly to the end of today's session, I want to invite you also for a contemplation until the next session of the Mind Zoom. And I'd like to pose a question. What good shall I do this day? Think about it in terms of maybe little things or maybe big things. Maybe spending more time with your cat at home, or which is great. Looking up in the sky and really feeling the sun on your skin. Really feel it. Or something big, volunteering in the community or with a neighbor. But here important is also to connect to something that gives us really hope, that really is a resource that we can also draw on, something really good to connect to. So the recordings from the Mind Zooms you find on our mindfulness website, and I'm just copying in to those of you who like to also follow up on getting some resources or checking when the next events take place of mindfulness practice. We are quite active on social media. So please check in and connect. To end this session, I like to, excuse me, I like to speak in dedication and dedication of merit. Maybe it is also something that we can aspire to. So the dedication goes like this, and I say it first, and maybe you can speak after, that we all speak it together. Here it goes. May I be safe. May you be safe. May the UF community be safe. And may all people be safe. And let's actually open our mics and chat boxes. You can also type it if you want. Let's do it together. Those who want to join in. Okay, ready? And it might be a little bit chaotic sounding, but let's do it together, right? May I be safe.
Be safe.
May I be safe.
Safe.
May you be safe.
May you be safe.
May the UF community be safe.
May
You have
you
Community be safe.
And may all people be safe.
And
may all
people
people
be safe. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Very well. So I'll see you back at the next Mind Zoom or 360 mindfulness sessions. Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sabina.
Hi, Samira.